That's nearly $2 billion, and that's money that's going to be spent on improving safety, enhancing mobility, and improving economic growth and development in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, and with this historic funding from the legislature, new construction will be popping up all over Mississippi.
MDOT presents the Extra Mile Podcast.
Men and women of the Department of Transportation are up to the task and up to make sure that we deliver a product that the taxpayers can be proud of. So I'm ready for us to go to work.
Welcome into another edition of the Extra Mile Podcast presented by the Mississippi Department of Transportation. I'm MDOT Deputy Director of Public Affairs, Paul Catul, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Will Kraft. He is the Director of Public Affairs at the agency. Well, we are continuing with our summer travel theme. We want you to get out onto the roads this summer, and what better place to go than a concert? There are lots of concerts around the state of Mississippi. With that in mind, we are at Dueling Hall in the Fondren District of Jackson, Mississippi, and we are here to talk to Mr. Arden Barnett, and he is the owner of Ardenland, which handles concert promotion amongst many other things. Arden, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you
Appreciate
for the invite. Yeah.
Super cool location too. We like to get out and check out the state anytime we have an opportunity. This will absolutely be one of my favorites though. I think this is the first time we've been on like a live stage looking setup, so this is really neat. Appreciate it.
No doubt. So tell us a little bit about where we are, Dueling Hall.
So Dueling Hall is actually the old dueling school that was built in, I think, 2 or 3 different sections, but the first one, if I'm not mistaken, was 1928, which Saltine is in that portion. Then the classrooms all began, where Saltine is, down the hallway where our office is. Dueling Hall was actually the cafeteria / auditorium. And so as you can see, well, they can't, but the floors it's like old hardwood floor stage. And then it goes on into what would be the kitchen now, and up to the upstairs, which it's a maze, but we have people come in, weekly and say, I used to dance on that stage, back when they were in 5th grade. And I had someone in my office last night, we were visiting, and he said, "Yeah, I was in 5th grade in this very room in our office."
That's wild.
Anyway, it was crazy. Yeah,
I didn't realize that at all. I think even maybe earlier this week, Paul mentioned that this was the original school. And forgive my ignorance out there, everybody. I apologize, but yeah, I didn't realize this was a school at one point. Mm-hmm. Not a Jacksonian so much so, but that's really neat, man. It is cool, and love to see old buildings repurposed. Always enjoy that, but
definitely. So. Arden, just can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this business?
Well, it's, in high school I was playing, taking my turntable to parties and building my own speakers, and I went to work in a music store that we did professional audio and also home hi-fi, and so I got in there and started running sound for bands, and got invited to work a show. A friend of mine, Kip Attaway, that I work with, who's still playing music, but he had booked a show with Hoyt Axton, and this would have been 1978, I think. So that was actually my first concert to actually work.
Oh, wow.
And Tanya Tucker was next, and then it just rolled on into that. Ended up in Birmingham after Idaho, and I worked with the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and I was a student there. I really didn't ever go to class. I just spent 10 hours a day in my little cubicle booking bands.
Not unlike some of us, I understand.
So yes, and that was that. Moved back here, went to work with Malcolm at Hallam House.
Oh, okay.
Was there for 8 years, and great time there, and then went out on my own, and here you have it.
Ardenland, right?
There you have it.
There you go.
Well, there were several factions before Ardenland.
That's what it is now.
Has been, it started in January 2011 when I got laid off from a real job.
Okay, well, I think it worked out well.
Definitely worked out.
As some folks have mentioned, as we've made known where we were coming today and who we were having on our show, definitely a career that seems like it's a lot of fun. and that you could have a lot of fun in over a lifetime doing. So, that's pretty rewarding, and I think a lot of people are jealous of trying to do that for sure. One interesting thing, Anna Ergot, shameless shout out for one of our public affairs folks, a former employee of yours, as we mentioned a long time ago, but she mentioned to us kind of a neat, about the location. They say location, but Dueling Hall and kind of Jackson Central, where y'all set up is between New Orleans and North Mississippi. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, just Jackson in general. Yeah. We're being on the interstate quadrant between New Orleans and Memphis and Dallas and in Atlanta or Birmingham. All of those. Pretty much people, they're coming through town. So we are fortunate to get some of those shows passing through here. Yeah, it helps. Usually they're a Tuesday, Yeah. but we'll take what we can get.
That's right.
Being where we are.
Somebody actually mentioned that. That is why kind of we are fortunate to some of these other bigger bands that maybe wouldn't headline here on a weekend, but we can get them. Yeah. On a Tuesday, Wednesday stuff when they come.
It was like a My Morning Jacket. We get stuff passing through. So
we'll take it.
Yeah. It's always nice to see a band here, and then a year later or something, they're on like Letterman or I guess not Letterman anymore. One of the late night shows. It's pretty cool. Definitely seen a few of those. Yeah. This is a transportation podcast. We did kind of want to touch on a little bit. But why is it kind of, as a business owner, why is it important to have kind of a solid transportation network? I'm assuming you got to get the bands, you got to get the supplies, logistics to to the venues and that sort of thing. Yeah,
and I tell you, it's after COVID, it has been brutal. Not only for every business, but in particular, the entertainment business has been really hit pretty hard. Getting people back to work has been the hard part, and not as much in my area in the promotion and business of it, but when it comes to a band and finding bus drivers, because the bus drivers went to be truck drivers or they did something else during COVID. They had to find another way of making a living. All the stagehands, all the techs, everything. So getting these people to come back in to do business and to take over their other jobs has been their bands are finding it tough. There's bus shortages right now.
Really?
Yes. Just anyway, I've heard they're bringing buses over from Europe right now because there's such between the tour bus situation is so. But there are a lot of bands touring right. That's the other. Everyone's working.
If you got some tour buses for sale, we know where you can get rid of them. Okay.
So anyway, but yeah, it's we're still climbing that mountain.
Yeah.
To get up.
I can imagine. So, any kind of major hurdles as far as the transportation system that y'all have faced?
No, I don't think so. Other than just your normal weather, incidents and
nothing you can really do. To the best of your ability.
Or one lane of of interstate going to Mobile being shut down.
Yeah. That's right. Hey, and unfortunately, but fortunately, we've gotten loads of money from the state legislature the last couple of years and the federal delegation as well. So, again, fortunately, unfortunately, you're going to see a lot more orange cones out there. Just something to be aware of. Safe driving out there because there's going to be a bunch of work zones popping up everywhere.
Right. No pain, no gain.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is it absolutely?
Yeah.
So I know most of our listeners, our viewers, have seen the DMS boards, the electronic signs, kind of with our safe driving messages up there. Throughout the year, we're big music fans of public affairs. That's why we're here. Part of the reason why we're here, we like to work music into it. So during Cathead Jam, we had one up for Goose. We had one up for Jason Isbell went viral. For the Flaming Lips, we had one of those. So we like to work with the music industry as well a little bit, promote that economic growth and development. But can you talk to us a little bit about Cathead Jam and kind of the success of that festival?
Yeah, it's it was just this past 2 weeks ago, I think, or 1 week ago. So I'm still in a blur, but June 2 and 3, and it was a great weekend. It's we came back after 3 years of not having it after COVID, of course, and so it was almost like starting over again. But at the same point, the turnout was good. It was a wonderful experience, and we were so blessed with the weather. Typically at Cathead Jam, it's 175 degrees outside, and I think it may have broken 90. So it was a real treat. The wind was blowing, And we ended up, we were looking at sales reports yesterday, and I think we had 14 different states were represented.
Oh, wow.
You know, all the way, from New Hampshire, Iowa, Colorado, all over the place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good to see.
That's a drive.
Yeah, it was
too.
It was a great experience. Yeah,
That's really awesome.
Good stuff.
What about some of the favorites? You know, do you have a favorite band that's come in or favorite concert kind of that you're looking forward to in the upcoming months? Favorite event, maybe even not even specific to music.
Well, we just announced yesterday Lake Street Dive.
Okay.
And they'll be performing at the MSU Riley Center in Meridian.
Yes.
So we booked that room over there, and we'll be announcing a whole nother season come August. But Lake Street's a one-off that we just popped up yesterday. That's a good road trip for you right there.
Yeah, and Meridian too.
Yeah.
I think somebody actually mentioned the Riley Center, if I'm saying that correctly. Riley Center, is that right?
Yep.
And saying how beautiful and fantastic. So Meridian, we may be coming to check you guys out pretty soon. But I did segue a little too quick there. Paul, you had some very high praises for Cathead. I want you to get that out there, man.
Oh yeah, no, I just got to say, Cathead Jam. I love spending time at Dueling Hall, Ardenland, but I would say that might be my favorite Jackson weekend of all time. So just more kudos to you and your team. Y'all did an excellent job for sure. Yes, sir.
Appreciate
And
you being there.
same high marks from so many others that I know, specifically in our office. I don't know if we have a very outgoing, looking for good times office, which is a great thing, you know. So we like to go have fun, and everyone has said the same things, that it was such a great time, kids and family friendly, you know, and everybody enjoyed it. I just briefly touched on that, other big events kind of that you're looking forward to, but you just mentioned, so August is kind of the lineup.
Yeah, August we'll do a season announce for the Riley Center itself.
Okay.
We've got an event coming up July 27 and 28 at the Mississippi Coliseum.
Okay.
The Keith Killebrew Memorial Rodeo.
Yeah.
And it's literally our first rodeo. And we are not doing the animals or
Okay.
the whatever
The rodeo.
the rodeoing part. We've got a great producer of that's coming on board
Okay.
with us to help out. But it's actually, I'm being told that it will be the second largest two-day rodeo in the country.
Oh wow.
And it's actually an international rodeo, so there are people coming from around the world
That's
to
really
compete
cool.
in this. Chapel Hart will be performing,
Oh, right on.
and Drake
Nice.
Milligan
Okay.
on this. So we'll have the music element to that side. And bull poker and all kinds of crazy.
I have actually already
stuff.
seen some advertisements for this that you mentioned. I
Yeah.
saw them probably on Facebook or something today or yesterday.
Yep.
But yeah, the Keith Killebrew Rodeo. I
Yep.
saw that. That's right.
So anyway,
That's very cool. And just to reiterate, you do things around the state too. I know you do things in Hattiesburg sometimes, Jackson, Natchez, all over the state of Mississippi.
Yep, we do. So Hattiesburg, Meridian, we do events in Mobile with the fairgrounds down there.
Okay.
We produced a festival in California
wow.
a few years ago in Santa Cruz.
All the way in California too now.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
So all right, so you guys have statewide. You get in Mobile, so y'all are. I mean, it's not just Mississippi; it's everywhere. I mean, you guys are far and wide.
Yeah, I mean we can do a show wherever.
That's
so
really
we
neat.
did Grace Potter in Houston not too long ago.
Yeah.
And so
Big
been
fan.
all over the map. Yeah. So,
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
What you got,
There you
Paul?
go. Yeah, well, we've hit a lot of things. Why don't you hit the food question for us?
Yeah, we can. One thing before we get into that, I do want to ask you. So litter
sure.
is one of our big things at MDOT, and we're going through restarting a campaign right now promoting anti-litter messaging, getting that out there. Have you found any kind of like best practices or tips for when you guys are working venues and events on how to kind of keep the place clean or get folks to assist in that?
Well, I mean, first and foremost is, when we do a festival and an event, it is top priority to be clean.
Sure.
And our premise is, especially at a festival, if you have garbage cans, typically people are pretty good about not throwing this stuff on the ground. They'll put it, but if you don't have there is some sort of formula. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but if they have to walk more than 50 feet or something like that to a garbage can, then you're in trouble.
I think I've heard something like the Disney World has that metric.
Exactly,
down pat,
exactly.
yeah.
That's where it came from.
There
So we believe in that, and then we have a great crew that comes in and does all of our cleanup. But I'm with you guys. I mean, there's nothing that just rips me more than
so
to see
easy.
somebody throwing a cigarette on. I mean, I come into work and there's 3 cigarette butts on the stairs I have to pick up.
There's
and
probably a little ash thing for him sitting right there. You know?
It's just really.
I agree. We talk about it all the time, but I just, if you handed me some garbage right now and paid me $20, I don't think I could walk outside and just throw it in the street, throw it on the grass. It's just never been wired in me to do that. Credit to my upbringing and those that reared me. But I don't know. That seems like something easy. We ought to be able to kind of get over the hump.
Yeah, I totally agree on that.
No doubt. Will and Arden, y'all would be best friends on that because Will talks. He literally talks about that all the time.
Probably too much.
I mean, that's like road rage when I see someone throw something.
I love it.
It's like,
why? That's probably not a good thing to say on this show, but
no,
you might have to bleep that.
That's
one
fair.
out.
Totally fair.
You're good. You're
in
good.
the context, totally fair. Hey, we're gonna have to feature him on an anti-litter messaging episode or something. And get into kind of the really fun ones here, kind of the last few things. And some of these you may not be able to answer right off the top of your head. You may have to think about it for a second. But as you're kind of going around the state, and we want to keep this, Mississippi centric, but anywhere far and wide, you do a lot of road travels. Is there ever is there a hole in the wall maybe, or somewhere like a restaurant that you don't get to pop into often? But man, it's
I love the little taquerias.
Okay.
Like the corner market. They're
find the
just
ones.
the little grocery stores. They have a taqueria and stuff. And I do quite a bit of motorcycle travel, and I like to get off the beaten path.
You got to have something easily to eat while you're riding also.
Yeah.
You don't want the full meal deal.
Or before and after riding.
That's right. Not while you're riding.
Yeah.
I don't drive a motorcycle. I don't know the proper protocols, so don't take
you
my
don't
advice
eat
there.
and drive on a motorcycle. I can promise you that.
We have a saying for motorcycles: look twice, save a life. So look out for Arden. Look out for the motorcyclist out there. We want to keep everyone safe.
And put your burger down. Yeah.
Please do.
No doubt. So a few other fun questions. So this should be pretty easy. So maybe a favorite band or musician, and maybe a favorite concert you've attended. I know this one is probably going to be a little tough. There's a lot of options.
Yeah. That's, I don't know. I mean, I can think of a few, Peter Gabriel. I mean, I will say that there have been a few events here at Dueling that are just, have been off the chart. I mean, like Billy Strings.
Oh, yeah.
Leon Russell back in the day. The Flaming Lips played on this stage. Yep. And Jason Isbell and Sturgill, so that's what, like you were, alluding to earlier about these bands growing up, and like Billy Strings coming in here and playing, and now selling out 20,000 seat arenas. Sure. So that's fun being a part of that. It would be more fun if we were doing those events, the $20,000 or 20,000 seat events, but
sure, yeah.
But we're not. So.
Can't do that.
But
with
it's good.
everyone,
Can't do it with everyone, but it is fun being a part of that ride. And Widespread Panic is a good one. I've been working with that band for 30 years, and being able to just grow up with them and see their success that they've had and remain good people
and relevant. I mean, always have a great turnout. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Shameless plug right here again. Once more, probably if I had to answer this question, favorite concert I've ever been to, definitely one of the top ones. The reason I mention this because now I think you may have been involved with it. When Alabama Shakes came to St. Patty's Day Parade, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Yes, I was not in. I had left Hallowell's right before that happened. Okay. Scott Carradine from Oxford was and Malcolm were an integral part of that. But yeah, that was fantastic. That was a big day. That's one of those dream, that you get a band like that, and then the hit hits, and the album goes hot. And it
was kind of strange to believe that we were standing there, front stage, listening to Alabama Shakes. And on the way home, I mean, they were the #1 song on the radio when we left. So really cool, really, really cool. Got a lot of good things going on in the Jackson Metro. Don't forget about it.
Don't forget about it. Definitely, I would say along those lines, Goose. It was kind of crazy to me to see Goose. They're selling out arenas in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. So more kudos. But Arden, listen, we really appreciate you letting us come over to Dueling Hall and talk to us. Very interesting, entertaining episode. So thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for coming by.
Yes, sir. So, with the summer travel theme, if you're going to get out on the interstates and highways, go to a concert, go do anything, really, remember to download the MDOT Traffic app, visit mdottraffic.com, get to your destination safely and delay-free. So definitely do that. we'll just wrap things there. Thank you to our listeners, our viewers, for tuning into the Extra Mile podcast. You can watch and listen to episodes by visiting gomdot.com/the extra mile. Follow us on social media at Mississippi DOT is the handle there. I want to thank our editor, Drew Hall. He does everything behind the scenes for us. And remember to drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.